Kia ora and welcome to the Uprising Gym in Christchurch. It is the final of the La Sportiva National Bouldering Championships for 2021. It is the 9th occasion which this event has had the National Championships, and after 4 hours of grueling competitions through the preliminary this morning and this afternoon, we are down to just 6 women and 6 men which will contest the finals. We have got the creme de la creme with us in the final 6 athletes in each section that will contest the medals. Former national champions, age group champions that have appeared on the world scene in this rising, rapidly growing sport. And the open females final sees Rochelle Andrews, Cyrus Tan, Sarah Tetzlaff, Phoebe Kenderdine, Amanda Speed and Erica Gatlin making up the finals, and amongst those it is the defending champion Amanda Speed will be one to watch out for. Enzo Murray has come in as the 6th qualifier. Henry Booker, the 17-year-old, these 2 young teenagers will be a handful for Zach Ohm, who was the champion in 2:14, Joseph Trevitsky, Jake Townsend and Tom Walden, the defending champion in the last 2 years, looking to become the first New Zealand climber to win 3 consecutive national titles. Well, what they have to do is they have to navigate their way around 4 different blocks over 4 different settings, and they have 4 minutes on each. They've got to get through the top, and with me is James Gunn. And James, these are tricky manoeuvres in which these athletes will be tested over the next hour and a half.
Yes, you're absolutely right there, Paul. So what we're seeing here are a 1 male problem, men's 1, and I think it's probably a women's number 2 or number 3, the red on the left. The low angle wall, very complicated, probably some jump moves here, some dynamic moves, plus some very balancy, tricky moves where you've got to lean your body in the right direction. So it is going to be an exceptionally interesting evening here.
Well, it's a growing sport. It really started back in the early 1990s with the crash pads and people falling off walls, but it's got so much more sophisticated. There is pathways now, there are world champs, there's Oceania champs. These athletes out there inspecting the courses that they will be challenged with over the course of these finals. Over the next hour and a half, they get a chance to look at the course. Their aim is to go from the bottom, from a stable position at the purple stripes, and then navigate their way through the zone up to the top. So the aim of the game is to get from the bottom to reach the top with the 2 hands and be nice and steady. If they can't do that, they will get points for the zone on the way through. They have 4 different blocks, 4 different problems that they have to solve. This is a test of both mental and physical agility, and it will not be easy, because we saw in the qualifying that many of these climbers were really challenged by the course setters, led by the course setter that's been out here, Pete Lofthouse, and his team, who have done an amazing job.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, right now we can see some of the climbers, they're being talked through what's called a viewing. So these climbers, they don't get a chance to try any of these problems. They've never seen them before, so it's all a level playing field here. They're all out together and they've been told what they're allowed to and not allowed to do. There may be some taped out holds, and here they are essentially sharing ideas with each other. So it is a very community-based sport. These climbers, they do cooperate, and obviously they're trying to compete to win and do their best, but they are also sharing ideas. And here they are working things out. So they're allowed to touch anything without taking their feet off the ground. And really what they're trying to do is make a bit of a plan, try and find out the best way to get up with the lowest probability of failing at any move, because essentially you are awarded points on how far you get up, either to the top or the zone. The hold here you can see in front of you on top of that volume is marked as a zone. Plus what you do also get as a factor is the number of attempts. So the best possible score is first go, you get all the way to the top. And essentially you are ranked inversely on the number of goes from that way forward.
Well, a first up shot to the top is called a flash, and we'll be really interested to see whether the top of these top class athletes, the top class climbers, can do that. The women's section, we talked about how many former champions. Rochelle Andrews, 3 times National Masters champion. You've got Sarah Tetzlaff, the first New Zealander to compete at the Youth Olympics, which she did in 2018 in Argentina. Amanda Speed has come into this event as the 2-time champion, and Erica Gatlin, finishing top in qualifier, got second in 2019, wanting to go one better here. This is a classy women's field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a stronger field here. and there's actually a very interesting range of experience. So although most of the climbers are relatively young, they've all been climbing for quite some time. So we've got a very strong and experienced field of the female athletes here today.
And you look at the men's section, they're out there now looking around, the 6 of them. You've got the 2 17-year-olds, Enzo Murray and Henry Booker, and out of the 6 you've got 5 of them based in Christchurch, although Henry Booker from Rotorua, Tom Walden, who is the 2-time national champion based in Christchurch competing for Rotorua, he will be the one to beat. He came in as the top qualifier. He's been all around the world climbing. He's been the national champ twice. It's really interesting looking at his progress, because in 2016 when he competed for the first time in the Open Championships he got 10th. In 2017 he got 9th. In 2018 he got 2nd, and then 2019 he won it. 2020 he won it. He is the man to beat, but he's going to face some really stiff competition from Jake Townsend, who was a surprise package, just 18 years of age in the qualifying, and Joseph Dravitsky, 21 years of age, and then Zach Orm, who was 32. He's the old man in this field, but he was the winner 7 years ago in 2014. You wouldn't discount him either.
Absolutely not. You'd never discount local legend Zach Orm here. He is an absolute exceptional climber, both inside and outside, and he's been competing for a very long time. He's a very strong climber, and he's going to bring some very, very entertaining and interesting and smart moves, I think, tonight.
Well, bouldering is a sport that is continuing to grow around the world. Certainly seen New Zealand with new climbing facilities being opened up, youngsters flocking towards the sport, Oceania champs, World Championships, World Cup events available, the Olympic Games now around as well. Alberto Hines Lopez, the 18-year-old from Spain, won the gold medal at this year's Olympic Games. Janja Garnbrit from Slovenia was the winner, the 22-year-old, of the women's gold medal. That was over 3 different disciplines: bouldering, speed and lead. This is about bouldering, and this was about the puzzle on the wall. They call it chess on the wall, where you've got to use your mental agility and all your physical characteristics of flexibility and coordination, strength in the arms and the legs and the hands, and then just work your way through systematically what are you going to do over the 4 minutes that you've got. And as you said a few moments ago, James, it's all about getting to the top as quickly and efficiently as possible, because attempts do count if you have to have a tiebreaker, because the winner for the national champion, who will stand on the top of the podium with the gold medal, will be the one that finishes with the most tops first and foremost. Then it goes to the most zones, and then it's the one that's had the least a number of attempts if you have to go back through a tie-breaking situation. What we're going to see is we're going to have the reverse order from where they qualified. So the 6th qualifier, the 6th highest qualifier, will come out first. The men and the women, they'll be on different blocks. They'll be competing at the same time, and then the 5th qualifier will come out and compete on that block, and so on until you go through the full 6. And then you'll move on to the next series of blocks, the next series of puzzles, the next series of problems, and over the next hour and a half. And you can see the crowd building up here. A lot of families, friends and competitors who didn't quite make it through to the top 6 are here for this, and the excitement is starting to build.
Yeah, it's absolutely a fizzing atmosphere here. This is definitely going to be a highlight of the sport for the year. Thankfully, due to COVID, we could still progress.
Well, you mentioned in the qualifiers the ones to look out for. If you had to put your neck on the line, James Gunn, I mean, where do you see the strength and the speed and the biggest challenges coming to put pressure on for the gold medal and to take that home around their neck tonight?
Yeah, look, I think it's really hard to guess at this point. I mean, there's a couple of really long, challenging, tiring-looking climbs in that main centre overhang, particularly the men's yellow climb. And really, I think it's going to come down to how these, essentially any single climber has their mental game on, whether they really choose to go for it, and rather than dig too deep, maybe on a poor sequence. So it is going to be a very, very interesting next few climbs.
Well, one of the real surprise packages in the women's section today was Phoebe Kenderdine from the Wanaka Cliffhangers, 18 years of age. She's the youngster, but coming out now is the Masters champion, Rochelle Andrews, 3 times national Masters champion. She is the oldest in this women's final field at 37 years of age. And also on the other side of the age equation is Enzo Murray, the 17-year-old, who will come out onto block number 1. So
Tricky.
Enzo's wasting no time to get underway. 4 minutes these competitors have.
Establishing well on a very complicated move here, but
so Enzo's still at high school, 17 years of age. He's been climbing for 7 years, unlike Rochelle Andrews, who's been climbing for 23 or 24 years. She was fourth in this in 2019. She was third in 2017, so she knows what it's like to stand on the podium at the National Championships in the open section. She certainly knows what it's like to stand on the top section of the podium at the Masters. She's been selected for the New Zealand combined team for the Oceania Champs, and she'll be wanting to get away well. This is a good start.
Done well here.
So she's got through to the zone.
And this move is probably the first challenging move on the women's one. Got to really pull into this undercling hold and move over. It's not obvious where it's good to hold on this hold, so they've got to get it right.
Only Wellington-based climber in the finals who have made it through. So Enzo looking up, he can see the top, he can see the zone. Now he's trying to work out a strategy. Do I do what I just did, or do I change my approach?
Yes, it looks like the first challenging move here is establishing that zone position. There's essentially nowhere to put your feet on this volume. He's got some holds, but they're on the wrong side. So he has to dynamically lean across and then readjust his feet very quickly. It's not an easy move to do. It's not an easy move to train. He's getting a lot of support from the crowd.
And Rochelle Andrews just looking up, trying to strategize, knows that there's less than 2 minutes remaining of her allocated 4 minutes on the first of the 4 blocks. Getting a top under your belt early is a real big confidence booster. The other climbers do not know they're in isolation, what the other competitors are doing. They don't really know the end result until after it's all finished. Here's Rochelle. So those 2 purple stripes means that she's got to have 2 feet to start, 2 hands on the other purple boulder. So Rochelle, you can see how powerful she is in the arms and the shoulders.
She's working hard here, but she's doing well. This is her possibly last go. She may give it another dash. She's got about 40 seconds to go.
Well, she's just about got all the places. Now she just wants gold or silver in the Open Champs, with Enzo's at the other end of the scale, being in the Open Championships for the very first time for him, just 17 years of age. Each of these climbers have a judge in front of them as well to make sure that they're stable and steady when they go through and get awarded the zone. He just can't make it. He can't get the balance, and Rochelle's finding it challenging as well. She got to the zone, but time will be against her.
These climbers out now. We've got Cirrus Tan in the women's and Henry Booker. Henry, another young comrade or friend of Enzo's, the youngest in the men's today. And Cirrus, a very experienced and capable climber. Recently relocated or relocating to Auckland from Christchurch. She's going to be the head coach at the new gym up there. She's also a coach in a full-time capacity. So big contributor to the climbing scene. Interesting to see how 2 of these go today. Here's Cirrus.
So Cirrus was the national champion in 2014 of Open Women, and she started really well.
Looking strong with that long move out to the zone.
This is a really good start from the 29-year-old from Canterbury.
Figuring out where to go, getting that foot back on. She should have this now.
She's got one arm, she's got to get the other one up, she's done it. She's got a top and she's got it early. What a great start for Sarah Tan. She's made it to the finals of the New Zealand Open at least 3 times. Won it back in 2014, 4th in 2015, 5th last year. The man they call Banana Boy, Henry Booker, another of the youngsters in the men's field, 17-year-old from Rotorua. Won the New Zealand Junior Bouldering Championships in Queenstown recently. 3rd in the Open Championships last year, so he knows what it's like to stand on the podium. He'll be wanting to change the colour this year, I'm sure, from bronze in 2020.
Doing well here.
And he's done very well indeed.
Well here. He managed to get his feet around a different way to Enzo and let him move all the way along here.
This is about patience though, isn't it, really now? Because those 4 minutes go very quickly indeed.
Got the zone, but unable to control that swing down, but he'll be thinking about what to do next. Unfortunately, he is a bit low on time.
Each attempt, really you don't get much change if you get through the zone out of a minute. When you come back down, you start to strategize, you start to mentally think about what route I am going to take to get my way through the zone to the top. That's what Henry Book is doing right now. He's been climbing for 10 years. He's only 17 years of age, so it's been more than half his life on climbing walls. Set his aims to beat Enzo, the friends, the rivals. Well, he's got to the zone on his earlier attempt. So he knows how to get there. Can he execute? Just under a minute to go. No.
Just lost his balance.
Now he'll look across, sees the clock and says, right, I've got one very fast attempt, but really the best he can probably hope for is to get to the zone. Time ticks away. 30 seconds remaining.
Trying a different sequence here. His feet around a different way. He's making some success out of it.
Just under 20 seconds to go.
He's getting his foot through.
And he'll turn, look at the clock and says, nah, that's me. So the block 1 for the men is proving challenging. So out comes Sarah Tetzlaff, the 21-year-old based in Mount Maunganui, competing for Bay of Plenty. Zach Orm, the 32-year-old New Zealand champion from back 7 years ago in 2014. But Sarah is a well-performed climber and is well known in international circles. She won the combined event at the Oceania Continental Championships in New Caledonia to qualify for the Youth Olympic Games. She started when she was 12 years of age after retiring from gymnastics at the age of 11. Originally based in Wellington.
Making short work of this women's one, as did Ceres. Strength of the field is showing through now. Sarah looking good here, but slightly hesitant.
Just wants to get stable.
Unfortunately, not quite catching. And here's Zachary. Navigating the complex transition onto this volume. Just missing out on the balance there. There's a very complicated movement, an awkward one. And again, like I've mentioned before, it's not easy to train for these kinds of moves. Sarah will be having a bit of a think and a bit of a rest because She got all the way to the top. And that takes a lot of energy. As you mentioned before, Paul, 4 minutes is not a long time to recover, especially if you've been on the wall for about 30, 40 seconds, really hanging on. Zachary on attempt number 2. See if he's figured out something subtle to change.
Well, he's been climbing a long time and he's very experienced. But he knows that the pressure's on, and he knows that the competition's probably stronger now in 2021 than what it was in 2014 when he won the national championships. Although, in saying that, there's 20 competitors in the men's section today, 8 only back in 2014.
He's doing well here. Yes, this may be the crucial element, getting his foot up.
Great support from the crowd as well. Now he looks ahead. 1, 2, he's got the top. Zach Orm does
Excellent.
well.
And here's Sarah. Having had a bit of a rest, she's going to give this a proper go. The second to last hold just up here. It's not easy to know where to hold it. She may have got her hands around the wrong way. So we'll see if she alters anything.
One, two, she's done it.
Good job, Sarah.
Fantastic top from Sarah Tetzlaff. Fourth round competitors coming out now.
Phoebe Kenderdine, and we've got Joe Dravitsky.
And Phoebe, the 18-year-old from Wanaka, competes for the Wanaka Cliffhangers. Still a student, but was one of the real surprise packages in qualifying this morning. She qualified basically second equal with the current champion Amanda Speed. And she is the youngest in this women's field at 18 years of age. She competed at the World Youth Champs with a broken finger, so it shows you how gutsy she is. Has she got the experience, the technique, and the talent to match these older competitors, the more experienced competitors?
Moving very well through this complicated section. Doesn't have the power to move all the way out to the good hold, but she's found her way up, similar to Rochelle.
Now, can she get a hold with the foot? And she's done it, and she has. Now she wants to become stable. Plenty of time remaining. And she's looking okay. Has she got the height? Can she get the hold? Plenty of support for her here at the Uprising Gym in Christchurch. The Central Otago-based athlete. Oh.
It's not easy to transfer the weight off that right foot. Here we're back to Joe. Exceptionally strong athlete here today. He's a builder in his professional time, but he's also built a training wall in his garage with a couple of his other mates, the dojo, infamous if you're in Christchurch.
Strong outdoor World Champs in Austria.
Yes, this year and last year Joe's really stepped up his game. He's always been a strong climber, but he's really honed his finesse. Sent a lot of really hard boulders outside this year very quickly. Very impressive.
Well, we saw in qualifying former national champions being eliminated. And Joseph finished in third top qualifier. Phoebe has got herself back to the zone once more.
Come on, Phoebe.
She's working extremely hard.
She's quite stretched out on that right foot. It's going to be tricky for her to lift her weight off, but she's done it. And let's see if she can make it count.
Has she got the strength in the fingers to hold? That is the question at the moment. She looks tenuous. She's getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd. That was a gallant attempt. But Joe Dravitsky makes it to the top. The 21-year-old has got a top on his first block.
Phoebe will be feeling tired now, but she's counting down the seconds, getting every single rest she can before she hops back on. One last go.
She's been climbing for about 5 years now. So she started when she was 13. Hasn't got the same level of experience, but she's certainly chocker full of talent and determination. But time is against it. She's going to have to settle for the zone. Gets a warm round of applause from this big crowd here at Uprising Gym in Christchurch. And here's Amanda Speed, two-time New Zealand champion, 2018, 2020. She joined Sarah Hay, two-time champion back in 2015 and 2016. And for the men, out comes Jake Townsend.
Yes, Jake, another strong local Christchurch climber. Climbed a lot of hard things in the cave recently. A good friend of Enzo's, and they climb a lot together.
Well, he's the third of the 6 teenagers in the men's section. Just 18 years of age.
Moving very strongly through this problem.
This is a superb start.
Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. You've got it, man.
Finished second highest qualifier this morning.
Very close for a first go.
He'll get confidence from that.
Sarah looking like she's in a comfort zone. Amanda, sorry. In a comfort zone here.
Yeah, the one they call Speedy, you can see why, because she's just flew up there.
Very calculated climber. The way she moves, she's always thinking about what would happen if it...
Oh, and she's done that in a flash.
Easy.
What an effort from Amanda Speed. So she joins Sarah Tetzlaff and Cyrus Tan as being successful with the tops in the opening block of women. Erica Gatlin still to come out. But Erica won't come out until after the time has elapsed for Jake Townsend.
Ooh, moving slightly quickly. There's a very bouncy problem. The footholds are not huge. Poised on your toe. You need to balance your entire body while continuing to try and move across the wall. Doesn't take much to lose your balance.
So Zach Orm has been successful on his third attempt of getting to the top. Jake Townsend just struggling to get his balance here.
He's reading it right. He knows what to do. It's just the second hurdle is obviously doing it.
Going through his mind now is, do I approach it differently? Looks at the clock, sees just over a minute remaining. A member of the Christchurch Flying Geckos Club. Made the speed final at the Australian Youth Nationals. This is his first time competing in the open bouldering section at the National Champs. And he's done well. He's got to the zone. Now, he's done very well. He's got to the top. Jake Townsend joins Joe Dravitsky and Zach Orm with the top in the first block of the national finals. And here comes the two top qualifiers. Two-time national champion, Tom Walden and Erica Gatland. Erica second in 2:19, finished behind Taylor Manning then at the national champs. But she's a very, very well performed climber. She represents Christchurch, but only because Palmerston North has no club. She's in Palmerston North studying to be a vet, almost finished. Looking forward to the summer where she'll be doing some vet placements, but on the other hand, here's Tom Walden.
Doing well, Tom.
Looking to be the first New Zealand climber to win 3 Open Championships in a row.
Another well-calculated climber here. You can see him reaching both sides of the volume. He's got his right hand around it and his left hand is pushing. Not quite able to make the foot up work.
Here comes Erica.
Comes Erica, one of the shorter climbers in the field. She's never really changed it before, though. She's cruised up this whole problem.
Oh, that's outstanding from Erica Gatland. She'll be delighted with that.
She's an outstanding competitor, Erica.
So that is 4 of the 6 who have made it to the top. Amanda Speed, Surus Tan, Sarah Tetzlaff, and now Erica Gatland in the opening climb of the finals for the men. 3 have made it. Zach Orm, Jake Townsend, Joe Dravitsky. Can Tom Walden, the #1 ranked boulderer in New Zealand, can he join them? He's just taking his time, showing composure and experience.
He's fighting that foot up.
And I think the foot won.
He's relatively tall, Tom, so it's going to be a little more challenging for him to squeeze into that very high foot position, considering his hands are very close to his feet. Takes a lot of flexibility and hip strength to bring your foot up that high while pressing so hard on your other leg.
Athletes use a lot of chalk just to make sure that their hands don't slip on the volumes, and that's exactly what's happened on that occasion. Just lost his balance entirely. Has a quick look at the clock, knows he's still got plenty of time. He's an experienced climber, so he will just not lose control. He will not become flustered, but he also will want to start the opening block on a positive note. And that's where a size that you're talking about, James, is just starting to become almost a handicap for him.
Looks like he's made it work this time.
Yeah, he's got over a minute remaining. He's got through the zone.
He's got his foot up on the good edge.
Just leans up. 1 hand, 2 hands. He's got the top as well. That's 4 out of the 6 men's finalists that have made it to the top on the opening block. Zach Orm, Jake Townsend, Joe Dravitsky, and Tom Walden. So this is going to be an absolute nail-biting final 4 blocks that these athletes have to navigate their way through before the medals are handed out later this evening. They'll go in the same order. They'll move across onto their second problem. 4 problems for each athlete, each climber, with 4 minutes in total. So next in action will be Rochelle Andrews and Enzo Murray once more. So Enzo back in action. Wasn't able to get through to the zone successfully on the first block. So currently he is trailing the field, and Rochelle got through the zone but couldn't get it to the top. So both of them would dearly love to get to the top here to really keep their medal prospects alive.
Yes, that's right. This is definitely a mental game at the moment. These athletes, although they don't know exactly where the other climbers have got and how many goes they've taken to get there, it generally plays on their mind as to where they are in the field. They know roughly where they are, and that pressure can start to build up, and it can impact a climber's ability to be precise in a negative way. And the men's problem here, the pink one we can see, one of the hardest problems of the day here. Extremely challenging, designed to really challenge the competitors and split the field. Those holds are very slopey. There's nothing to really hold on to, so they really need to use their shoulders to push with their hands. And the women's one here, balancey start, stepping through over the hand. A lot of flexibility demonstrated there by Rochelle. And now quick foot movement, almost.
So the 3 orange stripes just below that volume, that protruding boulder there, means that she has to have 3 limbs on the boulder, which she did. One hand on the other stripe just to her right to start. Got to be stable from the start, and she's underway, but just struggling to get some momentum towards her.
Here's Enzo almost catching the zone. We'll see if the judges consider that controlled enough or not. Not likely. They've become a lot more sterner these days around obtaining a hold or a zone. Here's Rochelle training these complicated moves here. One hand up followed by the next, moving the feet and kicking one foot out. It's quite a lot of moves that all do in the space of a fraction of a second.
So Enzo's done well. He's done really well. Now he's going to have to get his feet tucked up.
Exceptionally well. That is not the way the route setters had intended that move to go. So the young Enzo has tricked it out. Now it's really on.
That was a gallant attempt. He'll be encouraged, but he will also be just over a minute to go. And Rochelle's not finding things easy either. These routes, these problems are different from what the climbers had to experience in qualifying this morning. They are more challenging, they're different.
She's done well here.
She needs to get to the zone. You can see that.
It's a technical finish here, but in theory...
Oh, just unfortunately
unlucky.
not able to keep it balanced. She's going to have one more go, and she's going to do it quickly, because I think that gave her some confidence, but she cannot afford to make a mistake. And now I think the time will be very much against it. Seconds remaining.
She's really going for it. And that's the bell there,
That's the
unfortunately.
time. So beaten by the bell, unfortunately, for Rochelle Andrews on that occasion. So Rochelle getting to the zone on the first block, unable to on the second. Enzo getting to the zone on the second. And now out comes Cyrus Tan, who was so impressive on the opening block, went up in a flash in the first attempt, and coming out also is the banana boy Henry Booker, who got to the zone, couldn't make it to the top. Well, he started well here.
Cyrus navigating this slightly complex slab. The feet are not ideal here. Delicate feet. Movements are needed. She's doing well.
Well, it was an impressive start, wasn't it?
This right foot is not good at all. Feels very precarious to be on that foot, but she seems to be holding that right hand with no problem at all. Another easy top for Ceres.
Well, is someone making a statement early? I think she is.
Absolutely. This is often where the athletes shine through. Here's Henry on fire here through men's problem 2. These next 2 moves, exceptionally difficult. But he's done well to get to that right-hand sloper on the ret there. It's not a good hold. It's a different game in this final compared to the qualifications. 4 problems, up to 20 minutes, resting in between each one. Athletes are not going to be holding anything back. This is where you see the real athletes and the real training this year that people have been able to squeeze in, really shine through. Ceres so far really making a statement. Young Henry likewise.
Sitting in 5th position after the first block. Got through the zone.
Doing well with his feet here. It's a very powerful, steep climb. He's doing well through this.
Come on, Henry. Yeah, Henry.
Oh, that's,
Come on.
See that right hand has really got nothing holding on to. He's feeling it.
when you look at the early round with Zach Orm, Tom Walden, Jake Townsend and Joe Dravitsky all getting to the top. Means for Henry Booker, who was third in this event at last year's Open Nationals, at that stage, just 16 years of age, 17 now. It was a great effort. But he's under some time pressure here now.
Digging deep here, you can see he's not feeling as fresh as he was on his first go, but pushing through, using the support from the crowd.
And that's it.
That
He's
was a
saying,
good
I haven't
effort.
got time for another attempt. Warm round of applause from the crowd here at Uprising Climbing Gym in Christchurch. But has yet to make it to the top in either of the opening two blocks for Henry, but he's got two zones, so still remains in fifth position. And Sarah Tetzlaff back in action along with Zach Orm. Sarah getting to the top on the first block on her second attempt means that she's sitting provisionally in fourth overall position, because Erica Gatland, Amanda Speed and Ceres Tan all got there on their first attempt. So what can Sarah do here? This proved a challenge for Rochelle.
Yes, not a super straightforward start here. Some of the others made it look relatively straightforward, but the right hand hold is a pretty average 2-finger pocket, and the left is not good. And here goes Zach.
Come on, Zach.
Right foot up. Nicely done.
Come on, man. Yeah, that's it.
Looking strong in the shoulders here. It's going to be a long move.
He's going to reach, and he's got it. Looks like he's got a nice firm hold at the moment. Can hold his body weight. He's done well.
It's all on that right hand at this point.
Yes, Sarah's struggling to
Sarah's struggling
Kicked
on
off
this
the
very
start.
start. She can't get her left foot where her hand is.
She needs
may
those three
find-
stripes, so she needs three limbs on that volume at the start. Half her time has already elapsed. this could be quite a defining moment when you start looking at potential medalists. I know it's early in the piece, but every attempt counts. For Cirrus Tan already getting 2 flashes in the opening 2 blocks has really meant that she's put pressure on the rest of the field.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Here's
Now,
Sarah.
Sia has got her way off the start, but she is fighting time. But her experience and her composure is now starting to show. She'll lean across, look for the zone, and has got there. So that's a nice start.
Less than ideal foot here, quite precarious, a lot of weight on the fingers.
The 1 minute buzzer has gone. The former gymnast.
She's done well here.
Yes, Sarah, come on.
She's looking really good. 1, 2, and she's got to the top. So good work from Sarah Tetzlaff. She's now got 2 tops in the opening 2 blocks. After what was a little bit of a lumpy start for her,
Yes,
she finished well.
she'll be relieved, and again, she's still in it.
Phoebe Kenderdine and Joe Dravitsky. Phoebe getting to the zone on the first block. And Joe making it all the way to the top. He took 7 attempts. How much energy would that have taken out of him? But he's got there. He's in 4th place. But another top here will really put the pressure on the rest of the competitors. So Phoebe's
Really well balanced here.
it looks
No hands on.
just looks like she's trying to stretch her way up and push off that left leg and keep the balance. Can't do so. You saw with Sarah just a few moments ago that once she's got off that start, she got the momentum and had the ability to, and the experience to get all the way to the top. Can Phoebe, who performed so well in qualifying, do something similar?
It's difficult to put this move together again. Some of these complex dynamic moves, you have to move quickly and fluidly. You have to train them. They're not necessarily instinctive. And here's Joe showing his strength and his determination, fighting that big shouldery move out to the zone hold. Here's Phoebe, delicately moving, with essentially no hands at all. It's not going to be an easy stand up here.
Yeah, it's when she tries to leverage herself forward and upwards with her left foot. Has she got enough traction? Yes, she has.
Very well done here by the young climber.
That's outstanding.
She is climbing very, very well. And push to her reach limit here. This will be a good foot sequence.
So good, come on. Oh, yeah, Joe.
Well done. Through the zone. Got the zone on the first block, got the zone on the second block. Now she's looking for the top. She's getting closer. Good arm strength. 1 hand, 2 hands. She's at the top. Good work, Phoebe Kenderdine.
Excellent effort there by Phoebe.
A rising star, just 18 years of age, the youngest in this women's final field in the open section of the National Championships here in Christchurch. sponsored by La Sportiva. 4 climbs for each athlete, consisting of 4 minutes on 4 different walls. They're called blocks, they're called problems, and some of the athletes are having problems getting to the top. Good effort from Joe Dravitsky, but unable to get to the top on that one. So Jake Townsend, Tom Walden, Zach Orm still to come. Sorry, I should say Walden and Townsend still to come. Orm leading at the moment with 1 top, 2 zones. Dravitsky, 1 top and 2 zones, but took 7 attempts to get to the top. And here comes Amanda Speed. And joining her will be Jake Townsend. Amanda was up to the top on her first attempt. She got the flash. The term they use if you can get through the zone to the top on your very first attempt. We've seen some of the other climbers struggle to get away from the starting block. The 3 purple stripes indicate that you've got to have 3 limbs on that boulder, 1 limb on the one to the right. Good work from Amanda. Two-time national champion. Can she make it 3? Can she be the first person in New Zealand to win 3 titles in the open section of bouldering? This is a really impressive start. Confident, balanced, looks totally under control at the moment. Look for some pressure off that right foot.
Oh, that is not a good foot, and that is going to happen at some point tonight, and unfortunate for Amanda, it was her first go. She's not happy with herself about that. Here's Jake, powering through. These are dual textured holds, those pink ones. So the pink bits have texture, they're grippy, a bit like fine sandpaper. The white components extremely slippery. Just adds an extra element of complexity. And here's Amanda on her second go. No resting required.
Well, 3 out of the 4 previous climbers were successful in the women's section on this block. It's a really tight contest in both sections at the moment for the scoring, but Amanda's looking good here. Will lean up with 1 hand. Can she? Gets the foot across, 1 hand, 2 hands. She's done it well. So the defending women's champion has now made it 2 out of 2. And Jake Townsend trying to become the first male in the open men's section to get to the top on the second problem, the second block. No one's done it so far. Just Tom Walden to come after him. But if he can get his way to the top, he will lead the competition.
Pulling on that toe, pulling on the arms.
There's a lot of strength required in this problem. It's power and strength. Now he's going to decide, is this enough? Less than 20 seconds remaining. One final go, but it will be a quick one. Can't do it.
Close, but not quite.
Tough luck for Jake Townsend. And the final round of competitors come out for their second block. So we're almost at the midway stage of the competition. And Erica Gatlin comes out along with Tom Walden. Erica up on a first attempt to the top successfully in the previous block, the first one.
So if Erica can finish this climb on her first try, that will put her ahead. In first place, even with Cirrus, who's topped both problems in one try as well. So we're starting to see a bit of separation here in the field in both the men and the women's climbs. Testament to the good route setting at this point. Nothing more terrifying to a route setter if your problems are too hard and everyone falls in the same place, or they're too easy and everyone tops with the fewest number of goes. So we're getting a good split here, which means the route setters are doing their job. Erica doing well, having to grab that zone hold. And Tom doing exceptionally well here. This is a high point on this climb. No one has got here yet. Let's see how Tom is doing.
Tom has made it, the first male to successfully navigate his way to the top on the second block. He gives a great wave to the crowd. He'll be happy with that.
He absolutely knows it.
That elevates him into the top position. And we also saw Eric getting safely to the top as well.
Yes, both athletes know that if they want to take that lead and stretch the lead, they need to keep performing as they have. Right now it looks like there's close competition here between Cirrus and Erica.
Yeah, well,
Tom is ahead.
Tom is the only one with two tops in the opening two blocks. Zach Orm, Joe Dravitsky, Jake Townsend has one block each for the women. Cirrus Tan, the perfect score at the moment. Two flashes, two tops and two attempts. Sarah Tetzlaff there as well. Erica Gatlin's got up, Amanda Speed's got up, so this women's is very, very close at the top of the leaderboard. It's really only Rochelle Andrews and Phoebe Kenderdine who haven't made it to the top on the opening two rounds. So here is Rochelle.
Yes, a complicated, dynamic, quick moving feet problem. They're becoming very popular, these styles of problems. A couple of years ago they didn't feature too much. Essentially having to run across these volumes and be precise with your feet. And then catching that zone hold.
Was trying to get some pressure and tension on a right foot to get some balance on the way through. Just couldn't get it on that occasion.
There's Enzo in the background there. A bit of a classic slab mantle. That wall that he's on actually leans ever so slightly inward, so it doesn't lean backwards, which means that the holds are very small and very slopey, and as are the feet. Essentially having to pull himself up over this quite small volume.
So you can see the two orange markers, which means that the zone is not completed.
Here's Enzo doing well, balancing, squeezing with both feet on that volume. Not quite able to turn on that right hand. And Rochelle's working out the coordination on this one. It's not easy as a climber to train foot coordination at speed.
Midway through the time allocation of 4 minutes, 2 minutes remaining. And this the third block of 4.
balancing it through here, trying a slightly different variation on the sequence. I've been told by the route setters this is probably the second way, which is to precariously lean across. That right hand hold that she is holding is horrendous. If you imagine someone sticking a coin to a wall and saying hold on to that, that's pretty much what that red thing is.
Well, if she wants any chance at all of finishing amongst the medals, she will need to get to the top on this block. She's the only one of the 6 competitors so far that has not made at least one top. 4 of them have made 2. Phoebe Kenderdine has made 1. And Enzo Murray is also in exactly the same situation. He's made 1 zone in the first 2 blocks. But this one here is the one that he will need to successfully navigate if he wants to elevate himself into medal contention. Getting close.
And Rochelle made it through. That's good. She's applied a systematic approach to getting across this 3rd women's problem. I've been told the top shouldn't be too tricky. Does need to use a bit of upper body strength to pull all the way across. That foot is not doing her many favors here.
Oh, great work, Rochelle Andrews.
She's done well.
Yeah, she'll be pleased about that.
Absolutely. She is climbing very well
And
tonight.
that keeps her hope still alive. They may be slim, but it keeps them alive because we don't know what the following athletes will do, and Enzo will also be delighted. His first top so far in the finals.
Yeah, it's good on both those climbers persevering. It's not easy when you know you're not exactly at the top of the pecking order to battle on through and not let that affect you, and they've both done that.
So the women's section is extremely tight. Erica Gatlin, finishing top in the qualifiers, has had 2 flashes, 2 perfect attempts to get up in the opening 2 blocks. Suris Tan, exactly the same. Amanda Speed has got 2 tops, but she's had 1 further attempt. And then Sarah Tetzlaff has got 2 tops, but it's taken her 9 attempts in total. So, can Suris Tan continue this faultless performance in the final? Henry Booker, the Banana Boy, his nickname, 2 zones so far.
Come on, Henry.
And he won't want his arch rival Enzo Murray to go ahead of him, which is what Enzo has done by completing the top in the earlier attempt. Here is Suris.
Come on, Cyrus.
Here's Sarah's doing a very technical traverse of this problem.
She's got lovely balance, hasn't she?
She's done exceptionally well here.
Just got great balance. Hands in for the chalk. The chalk bag. Oh, and looking comfortable here too. Or have I spoke just a fraction early?
Just to place that foot. She should do this move without too much. Oh, she's hesitating.
It's the strength that she's going to need to force through her right leg to lift up, and can't quite elevate herself. But she's got plenty of time. She'll be encouraged by that effort. But her perfect record has just come to an end. But this is a really intriguing competition that we've got unfolding in front of us. Henry Booker has been through 2 zones in the earlier 2 blocks. Hasn't got to the top yet.
There he is, dancing his way up.
He's got that trademark beanie.
Not sure how he's not overheating. It's not a cold evening. I suppose it's the look, isn't it? Got to look cool.
This is the man that was 3rd last year in the Open Championships. He's under pressure at the moment. If he doesn't get a top here, he may find that a place on the middle podium could be behind him. Cirrus, on the other hand, has been so consistent at national championships.
Ever so slightly short on that last hold. Here's Henry on his third try, making ever so small, fine adjustments to his sequence up.
He's the current New Zealand junior champion. Won the Open Lead Championships in 2020. So he's a talented all-round climber. And that'll be it for him. Time will be against him. Now what can Cirrus do? She hasn't been successful on this. 6 seconds speed climbing at its very best. You need the two hands to make it count in a steady position. Unsuccessful on that occasion. So how critical will that be? We saw Rochelle Andrews get up to the top. Cirrus, who had had a perfect record until that block, has failed to make it to the top. Now in comes Sarah Tetzlaff. She gets a chance to elevate herself above Cirrus Tan, who was leading, if she can get to the top. On the other hand, Zach Orm in for the men. And Zach has got currently himself into second place overall. Sarah going to lean across and reach.
With a smile there, not convinced of her own idea of how to do this move.
This is a sport which has just continued to grow in terms of age group and in terms of numbers, in terms of facilities, both in New Zealand and around the world. Plenty of international competition when the borders are open. An Olympic sport now, combined with lead and speed for the 3 climbing disciplines. And Zach Orm, who 7 years ago became the Open champion, has got plenty of experience. He's done well in the opening rounds.
He's got his left foot, doing well here. This is his first try.
Oh, he's done really well
there by Zach
Orm. He is certainly back in medal contention here this afternoon for the national finals. Sarah Tetzlaff will desperately need to try and get to the top. Can't do so. Can't get through that zone. Halfway through her allocated time. She won't be too disillusioned. She took 7 attempts on the last block to get to the top. So she's tenacious. She's a thinker. She's experienced. She knows that the tops will be what determines who wins this. And if you don't get to the top, the chance of finishing on the medals will be really challenging. But she's almost done well, just can't quite get her balance and enough hold.
Yes, she's probably got a feeling that Cirrus didn't top that previous problem. And so in order to separate ahead of Cirrus, she at least needs the zone to defer that movement into the next problem, or a top here, which will secure her much more likely into a podium place. So here we go.
She's got time.
It's all going to come down to this last move. Whether she has the shoulder power to pull these slightly odd facing holds and a foothold that doesn't help you get up. It's very slopey. Rochelle launched very quickly.
She's got time, she's got time. Just wonder whether she rushed that a fraction.
Potentially, yes, because it's going to be very challenging for her to get there again with an increased likelihood of that move. Cirrus again struggled with the shoulder rotation to pull up over to that last hold, and perhaps the same for Sarah.
Well, it's the time pressure that she's under now. She looks across at the clock. This is tough. This is real pressure stuff. She's going to have one quick go at it. There's 4 seconds remaining. I don't think she's going to have enough time. One hand, 2 hands. She may have made it. That will be down to the line. Good work, Sarah Tetzlaff.
May have just been a crowd pleaser, but perhaps not awarded.
I think she may have got it. We'll wait and see for the official results to come through. But if she did, she'll elevate herself into top position midway through this third round. Out comes Phoebe Kenderdine. No, Sarah. No, she just missed out. So
It's a heartbreaker.
seconds in it. It was split second stuff. So Sarah currently in second position overall. Cirrus Tan in top position, but of course you've still got Phoebe Kenderdine, Amanda Speed and Erica Gatlin still to come in round 3, block 3. This is Phoebe from Wanaka, sitting in 5th position overall. But a top here will change everything.
Absolutely, and just the way she's climbing today, she's not one of the strongest, most experienced climbers here, but the way she is climbing, anything can happen here. She knows how to work her way up. She doesn't seem to get flustered, which is a very promising thing in a young athlete. She's doing exceptionally well here.
Well, she's certainly not overawed by the occasion.
And here's Joe, strongly powering through, potentially on his second go.
Good work from Joe Dravitsky.
Come on, Phoebe!
And here goes Phoebe, rocking over that foot. Absolutely astounding. She dug deep for that one, she knows it, and she got the reward.
Well, that's elevated her right back up into medal contention. 2 tops and 3 zones now for Phoebe Kenderdine. And Joe Dravitsky doing well. And he's elevated himself up the field as well. Remember, still got 2 to come. Next up will be Amanda Speed, who is currently sitting right at the top of the leaderboard along with Erica Gatlin. Jake Townsend coming out. Failed to score in his second block, so he needs this one.
Watch Amanda Speedy here. Calculate her way through it.
She climbs a lot at the Mangarua Gorge. It's close to where she lives. Also the New Zealand lead champion, as well as the bouldering champion. And she's showing heaps of concentration right now.
She's somehow holding herself still on the wall, all points in odd angles, but exceptionally controlled there.
And composed. Look at that, just taking her time. Time is not her enemy at the moment. She got through the first block on her first attempt to the top. She got through to the top on her second attempt at the second block.
Placing her toe carefully. She knows it's not a good foot.
She's done well.
Very well.
3 tops and 3 different blocks. Keeps her right in gold medal contention. She is the national champion. She wants to defend her national title.
Here's Jake.
Jake Townsend. He was unsuccessful on the second block and even getting to the zone. So we've seen Zach Orm, Joe Dravitsky and Enzo Murray make it through to the top on this. Henry Booker got to the zone. Tom Walden's to come. No male so far has got 3 tops. Amanda Speed, the only competitor to get 3 tops so far. But that could well be equalled in just over a minute's time when Erica Gatlin comes out and Tom Walden comes out as well. Four different climbs of 4 minutes each for these climbers to navigate through the zone to the top with 2 hands nice and steady.
He's got to get his toes slightly further down on that volume. The further out they are, the more leaning in he can do, but it's not easily done. And again, one more competitor on each of the heats to go. But with the scoring, everything is still up for this last 4th problem here. It's going to get very, very exciting.
Well, here comes Erica Gatlin. Here comes Tom Walden. So Erica coming into this round was technically leading by 1 fewer attempt, or 1 less attempt than what we saw from Amanda Speed. But the pressure will be on Gatlin. Meanwhile, if Walden is successful in a top here, he will be very, very hard to beat. No male climber has got 3 tops. Tom Walden has a chance of being the first male to do that at these national championship finals.
Yes, he's worked this bit out, although he's got a different hand up here. May not matter too much. It's possible to re-establish the hand.
Erica doing well, getting through the zone.
Doing very well here. See if you can rock over her foot. You can see Tom in the background also navigating the...
Look at Erica, she gets there.
And
great work. Erica Gatlin remains in the top of the field in the women's section, and Tom Walden has done the same. 3 tops for both of them. They came in as top qualifiers, and you can see why, because they are performing right up to their rankings in the final, and they will go into the last round of the competition in a healthy position. We look at the leaderboard and we see the women's section. There is nothing much in it. Erica Gatlin, Amanda Speed, both with 3 tops. Erica with 3 attempts, Amanda with 4. Nothing in it. Cirrus Tan in 3rd position at the moment with 2 tops and 3 zones. Phoebe Kenderdine, 2 tops and 3 zones. Sarah Tatzler, 2 tops and 3 zones. Rochelle Andrews, 1 top, 1 zone. Nothing much in it. This can all change dramatically. in this last round of the national finals. For the men, Tom Walden leads. Second, Zach Orm. Two former champions. Joe Dravitsky in third place. Jake Townsend fourth. Enzo Murray fifth. Henry Bocker sixth. So let's see what happens here. Out comes Rochelle Andrews for her last problem on the last block. And for the men, out comes 17-year-old Enzo Murray.
Both of these climbs very physically demanding. The men's one exceptionally long. And the women's one got a powerful move a bit further up, so the competitors really aren't going to be able to put 100% of their energy into more than about 2 goes, maybe 3. So everything could change in this last climb. Rochelle really digging deep here. As is Enzo.
This young man getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd. He's throwing himself at it.
There's Rochelle in the background there, the hardest move of the women's final climb. And Enzo navigating a complex sequence.
They know that this is their last block. They've got 2.5 minutes of action left at the National Championships. And Enzo's looking for the top. He's got there. That's a fantastic effort. Second hand to go up. He's got it. Well done, Enzo.
Stellar effort from Enzo.
That is outstanding climbing. And look at Rochelle Andrews. She's done the same.
Exceptional.
Double success at the same time in the final round. Now, that will change the order even more. These two will race up the leaderboard, but of course, the next 5 ranked athletes still to come. Out comes Henry Booker. Out comes Cyrus Dan. Henry sitting in 6th position at the moment. Can't make it onto the medal table, so he will not finish as a medalist in 2021 after getting the bronze in 2020, and the New Zealand junior champion will have to settle for as high up that leaderboard as he possibly can. Cyrus Tan, on the other hand, is sitting 3rd, but she's under some real pressure from Phoebe Kenderdine and Sarah Tetzlaff for that bronze medal position at the moment. Things can change, and they can change in a flash, and we might have a flash here if Cyrus continues to show this wonderful form that she showed at the start of this last challenge, the last problem here on the last block. Through the zone. That's what you call commentators' curse, James.
Redeemable effort there by Cyrus. Unluckily, as she was swinging back in, her foot didn't land on the hold. A good effort nonetheless. And here's Henry navigating this very long power endurance men's final yellow climb. On these climbs, often what happens is if you climb a long way up and you really battle through it, but you did a few things inefficiently, you don't often get a second go because it's so long and so energy draining. So it's often a one-go wonder.
Well, Henry won't want to finish behind his maiden rival Enzo Murray.
Certainly not. We saw Enzo come off a bit early on that boulder, but remedied that and went straight to the top.
Well, what young 17-year-old Enzo's done is he's finished the last 2 blocks with the top. So he's elevated himself currently into 3rd position.
He's put the heat on the others, right? He's kept his mental composure.
So the reality is, even if Henry gets to the top here, he's not going to beat Enzo.
Don't tell him that.
I certainly won't be doing that, because he just will want to get every last bit of energy out in the last minute and a half. Cyrus, on the other hand, has got a chance of a medal.
She's fatiguing on that right hand here, but she's got it. Oh.
Now, she'll take her time, I would imagine, 1:20 to go, and really try and put all her focus, all of her energy into this last attempt. She's got 2 tops and 3 zones in her 3 previous blocks. Henry Booker, on the other hand, has got to the zone in each of the 3 previous blocks, has not made it to the top yet. And he's not going to give it away easily. But this is challenging. You don't win a national title unless you're determined and committed and talented. Now this young man he's the New Zealand junior champion. But this year at the Open Championships, he's going to finish out of the medals. Cirrus will be trying to get to the top, and she's showing fantastic form at the moment, but she cannot afford to make a mistake because the time is against her. The time is ticking by, but she can see the top. She knows that she's got a chance. The crowd's getting behind her. She's got that leg up, still getting close, looks across at the clock. Has got 5 seconds to go. She's going to have to go. 1. Can she get the other hand on? She's going to have to try and get it on now. I don't know if she's made it or not.
That is close.
That'll be up to the judges. Was there anything in it? Split second, in or out. We will wait for the judges' call on that. Each of these climbers get officiated by the own judge. There is... We'll check in a moment when the official results come through.
That could really compromise her podium chances, let alone a first place chance. All of it in an absolute fraction of a second.
Well, she got her first hand up with about 3 seconds to go. Tried to steady herself, get the composure, but maybe, just maybe, the clock was against her. Still waiting for the official results to come through. I think the officials are checking very closely on that one as we look at Sarah Tetzlaff back in action again. Now, Sarah is currently in 5th spot, but a top here will change that.
She's reading the sequence well here. She knows which way to go up. So this one move is the hardest move on this climb. Hitting that next hold, which you can't see behind that highest pink volume, and swinging back in. Here's Zach.
Sadly, Cirrus Tan was not awarded that, got to the zone, so 2 tops, 2 zones for her. She's in 3rd place. Now, we've got Zach Orm, currently lying in 2nd position overall behind Tom Walden.
Looked like he left his right foot on a little bit too long and it held him back. He had to readjust it, but by then he'd started swinging. Unfortunate here because it looked like he had energy to burn, and he knows that himself. He won't make that mistake again, but he's going to need to use up a lot of time here to rest.
And that's exactly what Sarah's doing as well. You can see she's just trying to get some oxygen running, the blood flowing through her arms, recovery. You've got Zach just flicking his hands, trying to get some feeling back into his fingers because it's the hands that are really put under all sorts of pressure. Now, Sarah's got less than 2 minutes. Sarah has got a top, and 3 zones. But at the moment, she is 6th out of the 6. A zone will change that.
Oh, she came flying off there. Running out of body energy, potentially.
You got an impression when she sat down on the ground that tiredness was starting to become a major factor for her. Zach, on the other hand, has done well through the zone. Remember, Enzo Murray was successful on this.
He's done well here, Zach. This move is not easy.
Looking good, he can see the top. Can't afford to make a mistake now. Oh, that's exactly what he's done. Just rushed it.
Ran out of energy. His right hand failed him. think that'll be it for Zach. He won't go back on that one.
A real valiant effort, but not able to get to the top. Sarah, 30 seconds remaining, and I think she may just about say it's all over for me as well. Right, so what will that do for the positions on the table? Still 3 more climbers to come in both the men and women. Phoebe Kenderdine up next. Joe Zdravitsky. So Joe Zdravitsky in 4th place at the moment. Phoebe in 5th. But a top here could elevate her, will elevate her into medal position.
Yes, that would be an outstanding result for young Phoebe here tonight. We're at that point in the evening where it's fatigue is taking its toll for sure, and even the fittest of the climbers and the strongest of the climbers will still be getting tired. So the ones that have to do more than 1 or 2 goes on these climbs, and they're not easy to do in those few goes, they're going to be running out of energy, and that's usually what's going to cause them to fall off, not a miscalculation.
The 18-year-old from the Wanaka Cliffhangers. Has done well in this opening stages of the last block.
She is forging through, and you see Joe's foot here in the corner means Joe's doing well as well.
Well, unfortunate for Phoebe, just not able to make it, and Joe as well comes off. The pressure, the tiredness starting to tell now. It's been a long, long day. 4 hours of qualifying earlier in the day. A 3-hour rest break, and then straight into the finals. It's been a big day of activity, and this is the last block on the last of the final sessions, with just 2 competitors to come after these 2 climbers in both the men and the women's section.
There's Phoebe, 2 minutes left. Not a huge rest, but determined as ever.
Come on, let's go, Joe.
Phoebe's so impressive in qualifying earlier in the day. It's done well.
Come on, Phoebe.
Wouldn't this be a magnificent effort if she could elevate herself up towards a position on the podium? The 18-year-old. She's got time.
Come on, Phoebe.
Unsure what to do with her feet there. It's a long, reachy move. And she is definitely one of the shorter competitors, so would have to put a lot more force through her arm.
And I think she's only going to really have time for one serious attempt. With the tiredness, trying to get as much composure and energy as she can. These athletes, of course, are striving to be considered for selection in the national team. These championships will count towards the selection process depending on what competitions next year. Likely to be an Oceania competition with New Caledonia and Australia. Australia had the 2 representatives at the Olympics this year in the Oceania division.
Here's Joe looking strong. He's had a few goes at this now.
Come on, Phoebe.
Fortunately cannot push through to a high point.
Come on, you got it. Come on, Phoebe.
Right, her last real opportunity has disappeared, unfortunately, but it's been a wonderful national championships for Phoebe Kenderdine. She was a real surprise package this morning, qualifying in 2nd equal highest position, and has performed respectively in the final as well. Here comes Amanda Speed out. Now, she won't know exactly where she sits in the competition. She's in second place, the defending champion. She's got 3 tops in 4 attempts. The only person in front of her is the climber to come after her, Erica Gatland, who's got 3 climbs in 3 attempts. The perfect score so far, 3 flashes. Now, if Amanda Speed can get a top here, she will create some real pressure onto Erica Gatland in pursuit of retaining her title. Jake Townsend on the accompanying block.
Here, Jake, come on.
And Jake travelling well. Heartbreak at the very end, but he's got time to regather. First attempt.
Equally for Amanda, getting very high up in that long climb. They will both be feeling a lot of fatigue here. Amanda looking like she's opting for a second quick go.
Two-time national champion, member of the New Zealand squad, competed in Open World Cup events, lead in bouldering. She says she's quite uncoordinated, but looking at her on a climbing wall, you wouldn't think so, would you? She said she's good at cooking and baking. Well, I'll tell you what, the coordination skills look pretty impressive to me right now.
Yeah, she's doing well here, considering she essentially hopped straight back on after her first go. Essentially cruising.
She's got one, she's got 2. She's got 4 tops out of 4. Now the pressure goes on Erica Gatland to try and match that effort.
Erica must finish this climb in 3 goes or less if she wants the gold medal.
And she will not know what she needs to do. She'll know that she needs to get to the top probably, but will she know how many attempts the other competitors had? No, she won't, because they're not allowed to communicate with each other. There's no one in the room that's allowed to share that information. Here comes Jake Townsend.
Here's Jake, he's moving quickly. He knows he's got no time to lose here.
Well, he's got enough time to give it one real good attempt. He did so well last time. So he'll want to get himself steady and stable, and he's done well.
Done exceptionally well here. A much better sequence this time round.
I just got the impression he started to rush that at the very end, and I don't think he's going to have the energy all the time for another go.
He knows it. He wants to, but he knows it.
So
it'll be a half-assed go, but he knows it.
Well,
he's not saying no.
This will be a miracle if he can pull this off. But it will not stop him from trying, but now that'll be it.
There's a solid effort from the young climber today.
Just 18 years of age, from the Christchurch Flying Geekos Club. And now we come out to the final 2 competitors. This is the last time that we will see the climbers in action in 2021 at the National Championships. Tom Walden, the defending champion, the champion in 2019, the champion in 2020. Can he go back to back to back and make it 3 in a row? Erica Gatland, second in 2019, looking for her first Open Bouldering Championship title. An experienced climber that's performed exceptionally well across a number of disciplines. If she gets up, as James said a few moments ago, in the first or second or third attempt, she will take home the gold medal. And this is a really good start.
Here's Erica, the young Gatling gun. Her brother Chase Gatling, the equally accomplished climber. Here's Erica really digging deep here. She has done exceptionally well, and so has Tom. Potentially a first. And he has.
Oh, Tom has got there.
In style.
That will make sure he retains
And
his title.
Erica.
And here's the other New Zealand champion. The men and women's champions have been decided. The gold medalists, they shake it, or the high fives.
They know that they have placed #1.
Well, that is the perfect performance from Erica Gatland. She's got 4 flashes, 4 successful tops and 4 attempts over 4 different blocks. And for Tom Walden, the only competitor in the men's section to get the 4 tops as well. They were class athletes. They came in here, top qualifiers, with all the pressure on them. And boy, did they deliver.
Couldn't have asked for a more perfect performance by those two. And a very challenging heat to compete in. It wasn't easy, it wasn't free. And some other competitors tonight out climbing significantly beyond what their probably own expectations were of themselves. Nice big crowd here.
Well, it's been a good crowd all afternoon and build up throughout the course of the day. And some really impressive climbing we were witness to in the finals of the La Sportiva National Bouldering Championships. Tom Walden, a 21-year-old from Rotorua, who will be starting work as a civil engineer after graduating from Canterbury University this year, has made it 2019, 2020, 2021. He has defended his title and shows what a class act he is in this discipline of climbing. 2 times at the World Youth Championships in China and Italy, went to the World Champs in Japan in 2019, been to a couple of World Cups, and although his father, who's the president of Climbing New Zealand, said he hasn't had much practice in recent weeks being down in Fiordland in the indoor setting, well, it did not show here today. He was absolutely spot on and was the only climber out of the finalists to get the perfect 4. Erica Gatland, well, James Gunn, you said to me at the start, she was one of the ones to watch out for. Well, she certainly delivered. Palmerston North is her home, but she represents Christchurch because there's no club down here. She's going to finish up studying as a vet. She'll be spending her summer working, doing free vet placements and saving lives. Well, she put on the performance and the show of the afternoon, really. 4 flashes, perfect result for her. And I'll tell you what, James, I don't know about you, but for me, this lived up to all the hype that was going around pre-competition about how good, how close, and how talented we're going to see the athletes on show this afternoon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Paul. Look, it's been an exceptionally exciting day. During the qualifiers, there were a few upsets, a few problems challenged some climbers beyond what may have been expected. But we've got a really good split here, so absolutely big congratulations to the competition climbers. And essentially the route setters have done a phenomenal job in piecing together just the right level of difficulty. Problems were engaging, they were varied, and they forced the climbers to really push themselves. So that's a really good thing to see. It's not easy to route set. There haven't been a lot of competitions throughout the year, and that makes it really hard for the setters to know how hard to set and how the climbers are doing. And so not so much that it's guesswork, it's very calculated positioning of the holds and the forerunning and testing and just making sure that they've got it right. And I really think that they couldn't have nailed it any better today. They've got a really good set of splits throughout the entire day, and we got some mix of new faces, some young talent, and some experienced veterans doing very well.
Sefton, one of the co-owners of this wonderful facility in Christchurch, competed this morning. He's the New Zealand Masters champion. He wasn't able to make it through to the top 6. That showed you how much talent was on show. 3 teenagers in the men's final 6, and the women's age span went from 18 years of age for young Phoebe Kenderdine right through to the Masters champion Rochelle Andrews, who was 37 years of age. We're just waiting for the final results to be confirmed. not too far away, but we saw some wonderful climbing on show. This is a great exhibition. You can see why it's such a popular sport for the youngsters and families alike. It tests your mental agility, your physical capabilities through coordination and flexibility, your strength in your arms and your hands and your legs, the balance and the whole ability to work out the puzzles, the problems and the challenges that are presented on each of the blocks that these climbers had to navigate throughout the course of the day. Of course, coming up next year, the Speed Championships in February, the New Zealand League Championships in March. The New Zealand selection policy will see top athletes selected in the New Zealand squads that will compete, subject to competitions going ahead internationally in 2022. But it shows you from what we've seen today that the sport is in very, very good heart. Really impressed by the sprinkling between the seasoned campaigners and the young, up-and-coming young bucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I was extremely impressed by young Phoebe Kenderdine this morning, and this evening she really shined through in terms of her talent. No placing on the podium, but that's not what it's all about, really. And considering she's so young and so capable, if she continues to enjoy the sport and climb, I think we'll see some really great things here. It's always inspiring to come to these sorts of events and look at who the emergent talent is. It speaks a lot to a community and the strength of a growing sport and the popularity. If you've got a lot of young and energetic and keen climbers coming in and doing well. Equally, some people returning to the sport in a competitive nature. Further, some seasoned veterans like Zachary Orme placing really well today as well. He'll be extremely impressed with his role.
So the official results have been confirmed. Erica Gatland, as we expected, was the top of the table, the gold medal, the New Zealand champion for 2021, defeating the defending champion Amanda Speed, and Cirrus Tan, who was the champion in the open bouldering section back in 2014, takes out third spot from the youngster Phoebe Kenderdine from Wanaka. Sarah Tetzlaff, one of the real seasoned campaigners and the well-known on the international stage, having to settle for fifth position, and Rochelle Andrews making it through to the final six, an outstanding effort from the New Zealand Masters champion. For the men, well, he was a class above. Tom Walden, he came into this competition a little bit unsure of his form, but the 21-year-old, initially from Rotorua, living now in Christchurch where this Uprising facility is, made it a clean sweep. He got 4 tops in his 4 attempts. The only athlete to do that, Zach Orme, who was also the national champion back in 2014, was in second place with 2 tops and 4 zones. Joe Dravitsky, good effort from him to pick up the bronze medal. And young Enzo Murray, after finishing the last 2 blocks with 2 tops, elevated himself from what was 6th place early on up to 4th spot, ahead of Jake Townsend and Henry Booker, the New Zealand junior champion. It's been an action-packed championships here at the Uprising venue in Christchurch. On behalf of the Sky team, good evening from Uprising in Christchurch, and we look forward to the 2022 events which are coming up early next year.